Hello there. Today we're going to be talking about, before I start with talking about bowl cozies, which is what I'm going to show you in a minute, I want to talk about the quilt behind me. This is something that I've been working on. My design wall is not big enough, sorry about that, but you get the gist of it. This is one that I've been working on. I just came back from retreat, and so I was working on this. This is a wonderful pattern to work making half square triangles. The whole thing is made with half square triangles, and it's a nice pattern to take to retreat because I don't have to think so much. I can just, kind of keep doing the same thing. The pattern's already figured out for me. I just keep making half square triangles. The information on how to make this particular quilt, I will put a link below because I do have a video on this that I put out a while ago where I made a black, white, and yellow one. This is done similar as far as how this pattern is put together. Now the only difference is that this time instead of yardage, I used layer cake. And so you can use your layer cake and make half square triangles. This particular quilt, I used about 1.5 layer cakes. And so it's not quite a full size. It's bigger than a twin. What the beautiful part about this pattern is that you can start it and make it as big or small as you want. It just depends on how much fabric you use, how many blocks you put into it. So I do have, if you're watching this in real time, I do have some of these layer cakes still available. I'll put a link to those down below as well because this is it's called Indigo Garden, and I absolutely love it. It is put out by Indigo Garden by Kay England, and it's a Wilmington fabric. Just went together beautifully. So I don't use any background, I use just what's in the layer cake. So that's information about that. Now I want to talk to you about what else I've been working on this week, and that is I've been working on Christmas. So for Christmas, you can see what I have here is a whole bunch of bowl cozies. I love the bowl cozies, and I've been wanting to make these for quite a while for my kids for stocking stuffers. And so this is the year that I finally got enough of them done to do so. And I'll show you some of the products, some of the things that I learned along the way. My favorite is that, well, first of all, I'll tell you that what my plan is that a bowl cozy is simply a, what would you call this? A mat that is curved to put your bowl in, so that when you put something in the microwave, like a bowl of soup to warm up, you've got something to hang on to when you pull that bowl out. So if that bowl's really hot, and they often are, this works like a pot holder. The other thing I like these for, so with that idea, what I'm going to do is for a Christmas stocking stuffer, I'm going to give everybody one bowl cozy, and then one of these, it is artesian soups. I'll even link that below to show you where I got that. But these are fun. This one is chicken tortilla, and they had some fun kinds. But it's just a nice, easy, simple gift that's perfect for Christmas, for any holiday, especially in the winter time when you're thinking of hot soup. So this is what I used to make these this year. And this is the pattern. Hold it in front of me. So you can kind of see the shape of it is the shape that you need to cut for a bowl cozy. And I'm going to show you that a little closer in a minute. What I like about this particular, well, let me show you this first. What I use is batting that is called Wrap and Zap. This is a particular 100% cotton batting that is safe for the microwave. Now, I know that if I just buy 100% cotton batting, that's supposed to be good, but I know that Pellon makes this one specifically for this use. That way I can be certain when I'm making something for my family that there's nothing in it that's going to be harmful to put in the microwave. So that's why I like this batting. And it's nice and poofy. On the back of the package of Pellon, I really like it that they give you a pattern for how to make a potato bag, a baked potato bag, that you can you put your baked potato in the bag. It's a little cloth bag. You put that in the microwave, and after so many minutes, you have a really good baked potato. It just kind of keeps it from drying out. Super easy to make, too. So that's a couple ideas you can do with this particular wrap and zap batting. And so it just looks like this. It looks like batting. And I'm going to, let's bring it down here so you can see what I'm working on here. Hang on a second. All right. So this is what the batting looks like. I've already cut off of this one, but I'll pull it out here to show you. You're going to lay your batting down, and here is my template. Now you can see that, maybe you can see as I put it down, there are lines on the template. That is so that if you want to use some of your leftover 2.5-inch strips from your jelly rolls, this is a fantastic way to use up some of your jelly rolls, or just to make it a more interesting. Now you can use just simple, excuse me, you can use just simple fabric, both sides, that just looks pretty. And some of those I did, but for these I did use up some of my red and white strips. Okay, so what you're gonna need is you're gonna need 2 pieces of the batting for every bowl. So you're going to put this on, and you're going to take your rotary cutter and you're going to cut around it, and then you're going to place another one. You're going to cut 2. Very simple. The next thing that you're going to do is, let me show you here, you are going to also cut 2 pieces of fabric with the same ruler. So you've got all 4 pieces are all the same. Now this is a bowl that I'm making for my daughter. She lives in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and way north, and this is the shape of the UP. Everybody who lives in the Upper Peninsula is just crazy about the Upper Peninsula. It's just a neat lifestyle up there, very northern, and so anything that has the shape of the Upper Peninsula on it, they go crazy about. So they're going to love this. So you cut 2 of the pieces of fabric. Now on your batting, when you cut this, what you're going to do is you're going to take a pencil, and there's a V markings here, and you'll see it on the template. There's just a place for you to mark markings that are in a V on these 4 sides. And then there's also a square cross in the middle that you're going to use your pencil, and you're going to mark on that as well. So let me show you like the V up closer so you can see. Just use a pencil. The next thing that we do is we layer our fabric. So we have 1 piece of fabric with the right side down, and you put your 1 piece of batting on top. Take it to your sewing machine, and you are going to sew from this V down to that V, and you're going to make sure that you hit the cross in the middle. That's going to keep you in the center. You're going to turn it and do the same thing, so you have 1 cross of stitching that's holding this piece together. Then you're going to take it and fold it in half right on the stitch line, and where you see those V's, you'll see half of one right here. You're going to sew on that line, and then you're going to take your scissors and trim it to a 1/4 inch. You're going to turn it around and do the same thing on this one. Then you're going to open it up, and you're going to fold it again the other way, and you are going to sew on the line and then trim it off, cut off to a 1/4 inch on both of those sides. What you end up with is a bowl that looks like this. So here you go. Here you see I've sewn them. There's my V, and I've sewn it, and now all I'm going to do is I am going to snip off to a 1/4 inch. And I sewed it this one, and then I did fold it in half the other way, sewed on the dotted lines, and trim. Dotted line, and trim. Okay, so you're going to do that to 2 pieces of fabric. So this is the bottom of I've got 1 that I'm going to finish, and I've got 2, and these are going to make 1 bowl. I like to use different colors on the top and bottom, and they're reversible, so it doesn't matter which is which. Now where the stripes come in, where the strips come in, is that you can sew together your strips first and then cut your shape out of it. And so that's how you get one that's a little bit fancier and also uses your scraps with the strips. All right, so the next step, hang on just a second. We're gonna get this fixed up for you. Bear with me. Okay. All right, so the next step is that we now have two of the bowl sides. So I am going to turn one, white side is out, right side's of the fabric, and then this one I'm going to tuck right in. So the fabrics are touching each other and both outsides are white. We're going to sew this and then we're going to be turning it inside out. To sew this, it's very simple. You're going to line this up, you're going to take this to your sewing machine, and I like to sew starting right at one of the darts, and I sew all the way, let's move this out of the way, and I sew all the way around, and then I take it right out of my sewing machine so that I can turn it well and sew all the way around. You can take it out or leave it in, but either way, you're just sewing around these leaves. Now, when you get to the fourth one, you're going to leave an opening of about 2 inches that you don't sew. That's where you're going to turn this inside out. And now it's going to look like this. So this is the one to show you. And when you're sewing these edges together, you just want to, you can do more than 1/4 inch. I wanted to make sure I really caught those edges, and so I use more than 1/4 inch. But then we turn it inside out. Using that one little hole we have, I'm going to put my hand in, I'm going to make sure all the 4 leaves are nice and pushed out. So we get this nice shape. Okay. All right, so you see it coming together, both sides. Now this one happens to be Detroit Tigers because I have my son and his fiance love Detroit Tigers and all things sports. So they will absolutely love sitting in front of the television with these. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of the clips. I like to use those when I am going to be whip stitching this together. We're simply going to take the edge of the piece and I'm going to fold in those 2 edges, and this is where I'm going to be starting my whip stitch. So I'm going to fold those in. The clips are fabulous for keeping this in place so that I can kind of get all of it in place before I start sewing. Okay. Usually I would use 3 clips, and right now I got 2 in front of me, so I'll show you. Alright, and then my last one I would put right here at that end to secure that end. So then as I'm sewing, I can see here's the place where I'm going to start sewing. I will then take a needle and thread, and it's going to be just like when you do binding. I'm going to just be whip stitching that all the way till we're finished, tie off a knot, push that knot inside, and then when you take off your clips, your bowl is ready. You can make these in minutes. They are fantastic. Super easy to make. And so with that, I do have a link below for the template. You can use this template over and over and over again, and it becomes just a nice thing to keep on hand for when you need hostess gifts. Excuse me, my throat is dry. When you need hostess gifts, when you need quick gifts for stocking stuffers like I'm doing, it's just a really nice way to have something to give to someone, especially in the winter, that's nice and cozy.